So thank you, James, for that great presentation overview of your company. Now
you.
we'd like to ask you a few questions
Sure.
that I think will help investors understand your story. To those listening to presentation, if there's some questions that we didn't answer that you need the answer to, I'm sorry, some questions we didn't ask that you need to, you can all email conferences@littlegrapevine.com, and we'll make sure to have James answer those questions for you. So James, I think you kind of talked about being with the company more than, this is just, I think, second time with the company.
Yep.
Why don't you take us back to 2012? I think you joined the company in 2012. And what was
2013? Yeah, I was investing. I invested in the company in 2012. I didn't join the company until 2013.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell us how just tell us how you got involved with the company, and what were some of the problems you had to address when you originally came in on that time frame.
Right. Sure. So when I got involved with the company, I was interested in the company's technology. As I mentioned, John Davenport, who has probably more lighting patents than any living individual today in the world. He was the head of GE Lighting Research for a long time, and I met him through an investment conference and got to like the technology a lot, and also the promising future of LED lighting. And so I got involved as an investor first. We bought the convertible stock at that time, and then I stayed on the board. I joined the board, and after a couple of months, which I just didn't see the progress that the management was saying that they would be making, and I felt that we are losing a huge opportunity ahead. So I joined the company as CEO and start restructuring the company. As I mentioned in the presentation, that the company was really never set up to do a lot of sales. It was very focused, research focused, and so we had to really create a whole sales infrastructure, which is what we did in the restructuring. We know that the media market will be the military market because we've been working with the Navy for years. We finally got a pretty significant IDIQ contract, and for those who don't know, IDIQ is indefinite time, indefinite quantity contract that the military market, government would grant. It basically just only allow a certain budget to be used by the ships. The ships still have to buy the products. If they don't buy the products, they're not using the quota, right? So we still need to market this product to ships because the ships are the ones that are buying these products, right? Only the government is providing the budget for it. So we started focus on the military side, and the product was very powerful. We were able to reduce over 50% of the lighting energy consumption on the ship. But the most important thing is that our products last a lot longer than fluorescent lamps. So the maintenance cost for these lamps were reduced significantly, right? And it's not just the time to have people replace the fluorescent lamps all day long, but also imagine when the ships goes out for a couple months, you actually have to allocate a storage room just for the used and new fluorescent lamps. And now you can get rid of all that, right? The cost associated with those savings is far greater than energy savings. And the maintenance savings is far greater than the energy savings. So I've always believed that energy savings is the first story of LED lighting, but it's never the only story, and usually the smallest benefit of all. And that is very clear when we introduce in Focus, where we bring a different dimension of benefits. As I explained, you're talking about, benefits that could be, 150 times of what you're producing from energy efficiency. So that actually was also very clear in the case with military sales at that time. So we built this, we finally had a breakthrough in 2014. We're getting more ships to get interested in LED lighting because how much we're making their lives easier not just energy savings, but making their lives easier, right? You don't have to have all those lamps in the ships. People, sailors dedicated to replace the lamps. You're talking about for ships, there are thousands of ships on the lamps on these ships, right? You have to replace them. Right? They last pretty much less than a year because they are on 24/7. So so we were able to grow the sales substantially at that time. So that was really how I came into the company first.
And so then the reason you left, let's talk about the reason you left the company. Maybe you can get, and I think you touched that out a little bit, but what were some of the differences you had in opinion in terms of running the company after you had that nice little run in revenue from the Navy contract?
Yeah, that in hindsight that becomes a test run, right? I think as I mentioned in the presentation, we grew very fast. And for a manufacturing company that grew 20 times in sales within really 2.5 years or so, we expanded our people from 30 to 150 or more. So at that time we did grow very fast, and I think this is why I like sequential, stable growth, so we can scale better. When you have to scale that fast, you have to have the right people in the right place, and execution has to be great. And also, you don't want to have these big ups and downs, and which is what we had. We have some quarters that have really strong sales, and then it drops, and those volatilities should be avoided as much as you can, right? Just to make sure that you have the continuity and stability in your operations. And that's probably a big lesson learned. And obviously, people, you have to hire the right people. That it's everything you do, right? The people. And I think going back to your question about why I left, and there was really a disagreement about really with one or two of board members at that time, that they feel that our sales were dropping. We need to really go to the agents with the product, with the commercial product at that time, and we just didn't have the kind of brand awareness or product differentiation for us to use those intermediary distribution partners well. So I was never a fan of that strategy. So that was disagreement has grown so big that I didn't feel productive staying in the company. So I left the company. I still own the shares, and my investors own the shares. And so we have been watching the company and on the sideline, and they just they did everything I have predicted, which is like sales declines, and I try to support the management at that time as well, if they have questions, but they just have a horrible strategy and very ineffective management. When you have wrong strategy and ineffective management, you produce bad results. And when I was away for that 2 years, they lost $20 million, which is basically the company was going down. And the only reason I came back was that I firmly believe that our positioning is correct, being the innovator in this industry, and just the fact that all these biggest lighting companies, you would think that GE lighting should be there forever, Philips, and they're all gone somewhat, right? Even Cree LED lighting, they were once the pioneer of LED lighting, and now they got sold. They got sold to a private equity firm, now much smaller in operations. So you can see how much sort of challenges and sufferings that have been incurred in this industry. But it doesn't change the fact that this is a very exciting industry with technologies, with the right positioning, developing the right products for your customers. This is a very exciting industry because its growth is there. And as I mentioned, with all these technologies coming in to bring all these benefits that you would never think come out of lighting. That is absolutely fascinating, right? And one thing we always have in energy focus is knowing what customers need and develop products to fit that need the best. As I mentioned in the beginning of presentation, right? Our 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 guiding principle is the triple bottom line, right? Can we bring better financial impact to our customers? Can we bring the better environmental impact to our customers? Can we bring better human impact to the customers? And we develop products around that principle. If we have a product that really doesn't do that, then we don't develop it. It's very simple, right? So if you look at InFocus, it truly brings the best financial result, right? You have the least cost to upgrade your lighting to human-centric lighting. You have the least carbon footprint because you are not ripping off the fixtures, you are not putting the new cables in it, all this unnecessary equipment. You are simply changing your switch and the lamps, not even the fixture, right? The least carbon footprint you could have. And the human-centric lighting part, the human's impact is substantial, right? So you truly have a product family, a control platform that is going to fit for everybody. And that's why it's exciting. And if you look at all these big lighting companies, the reason they lost their mojo is that they have been going through the distributors and they've been selling the same products for 50 years. And they just don't bother to innovate anymore. And they saw LED coming. GE invented LED lighting in 1960s, right? They drop it, right? And so because they just stop innovating. They think that this technology is still long way to go, right? But the fascinating thing about LED lighting, this is why I got involved with Energy Focus, among all other. As I said, I was looking at the clean tech space. Among all the technology, I picked LED lighting because LED lighting is the most ready technology to be widely commercialized, right? And this was back in 2012, 13. And it builds upon the Moore's law. It's actually called the Hayes law in LED lighting, which means that in every 10 years, the cost per lumen is going to drop by a factor of 20. The efficiency is going to increase by 10 times, right? So that is very much translated into 25 to 30% growth on yield every year, right? It's very close to the Moore's law. When you have technology changes that fast, the incumbent companies usually cannot catch up. And that's exactly what happened. The reason I was excited about Energy Focus back in 2012, 13 is that I saw there's a chance that we could build a next generation technology, LED lighting technology leader, because the biggest lighting company is not gonna be able to catch up. And that's exactly what happened over the past 3 years. That's basically every one of them pretty much drop out. And so that thesis, that disruptive technology thesis, I mean, you heard of this theory about, the disruptors, right? That absolutely applies to this market, right? It has disrupted the market. It has got the incumbents all out. Now, who is the leader? Who is the lighting leader? And that's what we want to build, right? So that's why it's exciting. And if you imagine, like, why would a little company like Energy Focus develop InFocus instead of Philips or any other lighting company you might have heard of? Why is it Energy Focus? Why is it not Philips or GE? And we developed this last year when I joined. I joined the company and we started looking at what we need to do. We said we got to do something like this because this is the biggest low-hanging fruit that the world needs that nobody develops. We literally started development in May last year. I joined in April. Very soon we found this is the way we got to go. We got to develop something. And we have a lot of challenges along the way. We filed the patents and all that, and we got it up. We got it out. Exactly 1 year from the day I joined to when we launched. And this is the most breakthrough technology in lighting, I believe, over the years. I've never seen anything this impactful in the lighting industry, right? And it's only because we care about what we develop and we are focused on giving the customers what they need. And that is a very simple thing that the industry doesn't do anymore. So Anyway, that's a long answer to your question, but that's how, got us into in focus.
That's great. So it sounds like you wanted to improve technology, maybe more of a platform product, and get closer to your customers, and build it by building your brand with your customers, as opposed to letting distributors kind of sell your product.
Well, March, that's the interesting thing, right? Before, we don't work with distributors. We typically don't work with distributors, not even much agents, right? But with InFocus, we want to work with everybody. And you know why? Because now you have a product that everybody wants. Now, I don't want to convince you that my product has 10-year warranty, is flicker-free, is better than the next product that looks exactly the same as mine. And that was the issue we encountered. So we can only target the marquee accounts, the Navy, the Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic, these really high profile mission critical facilities. They love our products, even like Penn State, Michigan State, I mean, there are a lot of universities, a lot of Big Ten universities are working with us, right? Now with InFocus, I mean, just with our existing products, right? Because those institutions actually care about the quality of their products, but most people don't. Right now, InFocus is something that nobody else has. So every distributor will find a place for this product to be in their customers' facilities. We are not against distributors. We're not against agents. We're not against anybody. So we now with InFocus, we work with multi-channel, which is what I talk about in the earnings script, right? Now we're expanding our channels much more substantially.
So James, it seems like the distributor model wasn't the right model for you
before.
At one point in time, because you didn't have really a product that was that much different. So distributors didn't know how to sell the product or tell a customer why buy your product. But now you have a clear advantage. So distributors selling your product to distributors makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm never against the distributors. It's just that they couldn't sell our product. They couldn't effectively sell our product. It's not they don't care, their customers don't care, because nobody's educating the customers, right? So that's why we chose to educate the customers directly. That's how we build our brand awareness. That's why I said that today when we introduced InFocus, and we go to all these distributors and contractors, everybody was taking our phone calls, everybody was responding, everybody was interested, everybody is requesting product samples and all that. Because they know Energy Focus represents quality for years. They just didn't have business with us, right? So it all came along pretty nicely, But to your point, I think what's exciting when it comes to sales growth, that is one critical difference now. Not only we have a very powerful product InFocus, but also now we're gonna start seeing our distribution mechanism a lot stronger than we have ever been. So that's the exciting part.
Great. So when you look at your three legacy product lines compared to your InFocus line now, are the gross margins similar amongst all product lines, or are there some that are better than others?
Yeah, our legacy product line on the commercial side definitely has lower margin, right? It's going to be lower than InFocus just because InFocus is more differentiated. We also don't want to be greedy, right, on our margins on InFocus, just because our goal is to get everybody to want to use this, to install this, right? But we do have a little bit higher margin on InFocus than other, traditional commercial products. Our military margin is still good. So I wouldn't say they're drastically different, but InFocus definitely has better margins.
And do you install products for your customers, or they do it themselves, or hire their own third party?
They do themselves. They hire their own people. Yeah, we don't do that. Yeah, we could have people that help them oversee the project management side of installations, but we don't get involved with labor.
Great. Now you have some customer concentration, I guess, amongst your revenues there.
Yep.
How do you see that
Uh,
playing out over the next several years?
oh, that's gonna dramatically reduce. Yeah, it's a natural function of sales growth, right? If we can effectively scale up in focus, in the next few quarters, our sales level should be much higher, and naturally it will pull down the weighting of these top customers.
All right. Now, do you have any exposure to the China supply chain at all?
We do work with Chinese suppliers, of course, like most people. We have not experienced sort of, and I wouldn't say delay, but significant delays. And the reason is that we were able to diversify earlier, because you heard about all these trade tariffs stuff that has been going on since last year. So we want to diversify our manufacturing base. So we also have suppliers in Taiwan and Malaysia, outside of China. And it happens that when the virus hit, we were able to shift some of the productions to other countries. So I think we have good balance of suppliers right now.
So, a couple more questions here on your growth opportunities. When you take a look at your current customer base, I'm assuming there's a wallet share opportunity that exists with your current customers where you can get more revenue from your current customers?
Oh, you mean in focus? For in focus?
In general. So I guess in focus would be the way you're going to get more wallet share from your current customers. Is that what you're?
Yeah, we definitely we do demos with our existing customers. They are the first customer we go to, and so I definitely see the existing customers being early adopters. On the other hand, the benefits of InFocus are so clear and so easy to understand for contractors and ESCOs and distributors. I do expect, even the new customers to become, I think, significant customers over the next, I think, 3 to 6 months.
Okay. And your current, on the commercial side of your market, where are most of your customers? Is it education and healthcare right now?
Yeah, those are probably the two primary sectors. With InFocus, I would say that it could really go anywhere, especially when we start opening up our distribution channels. They would take this to any type of commercial and industrial buildings.
Great. So InFocus will give you an opportunity to expand the market that you're reaching right now, outside the markets you're in now.
Yeah, I believe dramatically. Just because remember, in the past we've always focused on large end customers, and we work with contractors, obviously, right, ESCOs. But with this product, you are talking about a lot of agents and distributors and contractors that will be specifying or selling this product to their customers that we simply even wouldn't be working directly with in the future. So it's too early to tell, but based on the kind of interest and inquiries we're getting now, I think it will be in any type of commercial industrial building.
Okay. All right, and I have a couple more questions to end this Q&A session here, James. The
Sure.
first one is, just give me your overall assessment of how you feel about COVID-19 and how it could affect your business. Maybe there's some good, and there's some bad, obviously. I'd just like to get your read on that.
Yeah, as we said that in the earnings call, that it did impact our commercial business, and it's still impacting our commercial business now. We do see people going back to work. We just haven't seen a lot of actual order coming through yet. We have projects that we know that we already sort of gotten even in the first quarter, in March, that were just postponed. So it's still a little bit too early to see how when people really will be coming back in terms of the going back to the normal or at least close to normal older activities. But we do see people coming back to work, and we are talking to pretty much contractors, ESCOs, distributors. They are not taking time off; they are working. So we are working with them. So we're hopeful that this will be somewhat this whole immediate freeze over the past that we have seen over the past 2 years, 2 months, will started to sort of defrost in the next months, 2 months, and at least we start seeing the older activities coming back. That's something that is, I guess, I don't have the crystal ball. All I can say is that we are seeing our customers, our again, our channel partners, they are working, they are responding. It's not like they are away and they don't want to hear from us, you know. And especially with InFocus, we're getting a lot of interest and demos, presentations, and all that. So I'm hopeful that within the next 2-3 months, we start seeing commercial business coming back. That's where we stand now.
I think you had mentioned on one of your conference calls that you thought that maybe during the shutdown from COVID-19, that maybe there was opportunity to actually do some retrofitting in some of these buildings that weren't being used, like in schools.
Yeah, it is true. And people are evaluating. It's also, there are multiple forces in play right now, right? I mean, you think about COVID-19, it does impact budgets, school budgets, states budgets, private companies budgets, universities budgets. Universities being hit really hard. So they do have the space open to retrofit, which is a good time. They also have the budget they have to consider, right? So you got all these forces that are in play right now. That is still a little bit too early to tell. And I have to say that you talk about the impact of COVID-19. We did start developing the UV disinfection product that we're very excited about. That, you know, that's basically a new market that that was not there before. And so we are trying to, you know, I guess, turn lemon into lemonade, right? I mean, we try to create opportunities out of this crisis. And I believe that it's also very timely because, I mean, think about it. If I want to put an integrated UV lighting and general lighting fixture in the room before, how do I control the UV, right? How do I control the general lighting, you know? With InFocus now, I have that control. I have that control over the lamp. You know, in other words, this integrated fixture will be able to not only produce low flicker light, it will be dimmable, it will be color tunable, and you will have UV disinfection. I mean, literally, that's the best lighting fixture you could see today, you know, especially for retrofit, right? You know, I don't even know if I don't think there are, like, even for new fixtures that have all these abilities combined. And that's where, you know, we have our patents now. And so when this product is introduced for the retrofit market, I have to say that there should be some market for it, some demand for it. So.
All right, great. So you've made some progress. You're still losing money though. And
Yeah.
let's talk, in terms of your balance sheet goes, you talked on your Q3, I think Q4 conference call that if you had to raise capital, if equity would not be your first option. I think you're looking at leaning more towards debt or a line of credit. So can you talk to investors about your view toward dilution and how you look at offering stock?
Yeah.
Trying to get through
I
this.
mean, I think that, you know, you can never say that you don't want to raise money from equity, right? You can never say that. But I've always said I own a good percentage of this company. My investors, insiders, board directors, we collectively own 30%, right, of this company. Nobody likes dilution. Nobody likes dilution. And I think we did. I think we did a good job in January when the stock ran up, and we literally finished that offering within 36 hours. Right, that's how fast we were able to execute and get it done. And so I think that's good for the shareholders because we got the extra few $1 million that can take us through this growth curve. But right now we have we don't have I cannot say we have a strong balance sheet. We have a couple $1 million, and we also have additional credit facility that we can expand. That's really where our focus is on, and that can carry us into the next few quarters when we grow the sales to break even. There's always an equation where you want to reduce cost so you don't have to grow that fast, or you grow faster and you lose a little bit more money now, and then you expect that the growth will be there earlier to help you reach the break even. And that's the path we're choosing, right? We try to grow as fast as we can in a controllable manner, so we can get there earlier. And I think if you look at our second quarter, it will be growing 40-50% from a year ago, right? We're starting to get into that rapid growth curve, and we want to maintain on that. And I think over the next few quarters, if we could do that, the stock will be at a completely different level. It will start to show the value of the value we're creating. And so our intention is not to raise equity capital in any near-term basis. We have done that, and we are not planning to do that at all.
All right, thank you, James. So you did a great job answering the questions. So again, if anyone listening to this Q&A session or the presentation has any questions that we didn't post today to James, please email us at conferences@littlegrapevine.com, and we'll be sure to get the questions over to James and get them hopefully answered for you. Thank you very much.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Marge.